a van called Flossie. So on this particular occasion, we went camping with some friends, and there was a river that was just down at the bottom of the field in our campsite. So my friend and I decided to go for a swim. So I want you to imagine that we're in the river and it's really, really cold. And at the other side of the river is a weir. So I'm not sure actually for our American audience if you call it a weir, but it's like a dam, but it allows the water to come over. So the water still flows over the weir. And there were other people that were at the weir. And I was like, okay, let's swim up to the weir. It looks really easy. There's other people there. So we start to swim. And the current is really, really strong because we're swimming up river. So I'm doing my best, doing my breaststroke, swimming up the river. And it becomes more difficult as I get towards the weir. And the flow of the water coming downstream, it keeps pushing me back, and I keep trying again and swimming. And I'm trying harder and harder, and it's just getting more and more difficult. And I'm absolutely exhausted by this point. And at this point, actually, my friend has reached the weir. So she's done it. And of course, I'm over here comparing myself to her and beating myself up about it. So who can relate to that? Comparing ourselves to other people all of the time. That is what I was doing. And I'm thinking, oh, if only I was fitter, I'd be able to make myself get to the weir. Or if only I'd gone to the gym and done those push-ups, I'd be able to get to the weir. Or if only I hadn't eaten that bag of potato chips last night, I would have got to the weir. Right? We all do that as women, right? I'd love to know if you agree with that in the chat. But we have this habit to do this, to compare ourselves to others when they're doing the things that we really desire to do, but we're not quite there yet. So anyway, I'm exhausted. I float back down the stream. It's a lot easier to float back than swim against the current. And I float back to this woman who is in the river, and she's with her daughter. And I'd say that her daughter is about 8 or 9. She's not very old. And her daughter looks at me and she says, you know, if you swim around the side, there's no current. And that's what's going to get you to the top. And that's what I did. And I've swum to the weir loads of times today. And I'm stood there in cold water, dripping wet, exhausted. And I just thought, oh my goodness, it takes a little girl to show me my blind spot. It takes someone else to show me that there's an easier way to get to the weir. And it was such an epiphany for me, because at the time I was really, really struggling within my business. I was swimming against the current. I was trying to do what everyone else was doing because I thought that that was the right route for me. And it was a real struggle. I was hustling hard and it wasn't getting me anywhere, and I wasn't reaching the weir. And I wanted to share that story with you because that's what we do here at Women Thrive. We help you swim around the side because it's so much easier when we can swim around the side. We don't want you to be constantly struggling against the current, exhausted and burnt out and doubting yourself because you're comparing yourself to others. We want to show you that positioning yourself as a thought leader, as an expert in your field, as a confident and competent speaker is easy. It's easy if you surround yourself with a community of other like-minded women that have your back. So I just wanted to share with you an amazing testimonial from one of our former speakers, Elaine Camille, who is going to speak into this now.
Hi, I'm Elaine Camille, hailing from the beautiful islands of the Bahamas. I'm a producer, TV host, speaker, and purpose coach. I decided to put myself out there to assist others with connecting with purpose, with setting ablaze what is already in them to give birth to their purpose. I said yes to working with Women Thrive, to being a part of this great community, because I just saw what they were doing with past summits. So I saw it as this strong pillar of empowerment that was focused on pushing women forward and creating great opportunities for them. My personal goal for joining Women Thrive was to connect with women globally and to push myself to the next level as a speaker. What stood out to me the most, the first thing that comes to mind was the impactful stories of the women who were on this platform. There were so many stories of not even just heartbreak, just tragedy, and they were able to stand up with their shoulders high. And I was just in awe of the women on the platform. We were all able to resonate with each other, which brought a level of comfort. So it added credibility to my ability in the arena of speaking. And I'm able to even present what I give to my audience in a different way. It has added a layer to me with just my flow and my direction, because now I understand different women from all around the world. As far as me as an individual, it has pushed me again to another level. The whole package with understanding people from all around the world on a different level. As far as empowering other women, just understanding what other people can need. And even though we are from different places around the world, we're still very similar. I would say be open to meeting great women from all around the world with great stories, women that you will find a lot of common ground with, and a community that is going to support you and push you. A community where no question will feel like it's a silly question, no matter how big it is or how small it is, that you will be pushed to another level in your speaking career. Even if you're just starting this out, or if you are in the midway point, or even if you are an expert, it still will add to what you already do, and it will push you to the next level. I would just like to say thank you to all the women that were a part of Women Thrive Summit 2023. You guys were great. And thank you to Ray for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. It has been a great experience, and I look forward to being a part of this community for a lifetime.
Wow, what a wonderful testimonial. And everything that she talked about resonated with me. I'm sure it resonated with you. And I love when she talks about being part of the Women Thrive community for a lifetime. I always say to anyone who is considering applying to be a speaker on our stage that you are joining a family, you're joining a global family, and we just love to showcase our speakers to you. Now, if you are inspired by any of our speakers today, and by that wonderful testimonial as well, I want you to know that we are still taking applications for our future summits. So if you have wanted to do this for a while, or even if you've only just started to consider it, I would highly recommend that you put in your applications very quickly, because we're going to be closing the doors to that by the end of the week. So those applications are still open until the end of the week. So who is ready to meet some of our speakers? I would love for you to put a yes in the comments if you are ready to be introduced to our wonderful speakers. Yes, 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 yes. I love to see all the yeses. I feel like I need to, I really want to kind of play some like walking onto stage music. Maybe we can arrange that next time. So first of all, I would love to introduce you to our first speaker, who is Veronica Whedon. Veronica is the founder at Revival Health GmbH. She is a self-evolution strategist, a health coach, a rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a hypnotherapist, and writer. And she works with singles looking to attract healthier relationships and up-level their life Veronica, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's so lovely. It's such a pleasure. And I'm so happy that you are starting us off today. Please, over to you.
Thank you so much, Abby. So yes, I'm Veronica Whedon. I'm so happy to be here. And you can actually all call me V, or whatever you like. And I really like my life right now. So I am privileged enough to live in a beautiful city with amazing architecture, nature all around that allows me to feed my soul by swimming in the river or the lakes or hiking in the mountains here. I have a wonderful home that gave me the opportunity to indulge in my passion for interior design and art and feng shui. I have a wonderful circle of friends to sort of piggyback on what Abby said, whose values are the same as or align with my own values. And we support each other and challenge each other. And it's just such a beautiful thing. I'm able to pursue my hobbies like motorcycle riding that feeds the adrenaline junkie in me and the petrol head that I am. And whenever I ride, I feel empowered and I feel free. And it's just so fulfilling. I have a beautiful fur baby that I wanted for 20 years of my life. And now I finally have him. He just turned 2. And there are not enough words on the planet to describe how much love I have for this dude. And he has been such a key part in my own self-evolution, in helping me practice boundary setting and patience and communication on a whole new level and energy exchange. And of course, he's my personal trainer who ensures that I walk or hike or run or play or all of the above and just move my body to stay fit and active every day. On top of that, I have a wonderful man in my life who I value so much and who values me equally. And last but by no means least, I'm building a business that works with single people looking to attract healthier relationships and essentially up-level their lives. And at this point, you're probably thinking, what is she talking about? What qualifies her to do this kind of work when she's just told us she has such a great life? And this is the thing. Just a few years ago, my life looked anything but what it looks like today. I was at such a low point. I had gotten out of a 6-year, very toxic relationship. I unfortunately had experienced the death of loved ones very close to me and had that grieving process to go through. I was involved in court proceedings, which took such a toll on me. My health was declining on an emotional, mental, and physical level. I had short-term memory loss, chronic fatigue. I ended up with a brain seizure and back surgery and was in the hospital a lot. And I just kept getting weaker and weaker and weaker. It was like I was dying from the inside out. I was in a job that was going nowhere, that really wasn't making me happy at all. And I got to this point where I just felt so low and so hopeless. And I had a decision to make at that point. It was either check out, which part of me really wanted to do, or I had to start walking down a different road because I just couldn't keep walking down the road that I had been walking on, quite frankly, for the 38 years up until that point of my life. And the thing that I realized at that moment in time is that I had to change, because up until that point, I kept wanting everybody and everything else to change. But I had no control over that. None of us do. The only thing I could control, the only thing any of us can control, is ourselves. So I knew that I had to change. I had to do something different. And that's where my own self-evolution journey started. And it's that road that I started walking down, and why I refer to myself as a self-evolution strategist, because now I love to share my experience, my knowledge, and everything that I've learned along the way I am today with others so that they can do the same and move from this place of fear and turn it into a place of freedom where you just become a magnet for healthier relationships and a better life. Because to me, the quality of my life really ultimately depends on the quality of my relationships. And again, to piggyback on Abby's beautiful analogy, to stop swimming upstream and to start going with the flow and finding a better way around. And so that's what I really love to do, and it's what I'm working to build a business around. And if you can identify with any of that, or if it resonates with you, and you would like more info, then please definitely follow me on Instagram at Revival Health LLC, where there's also a link to my bio with a lot more information on how I work. And on the Instagram, you'll find information and tips and inspiration on a daily basis. And so I'm very conscious of time and the 5-minute mark. So Abby, I think I've stayed within that 5-minute time frame. Have I? Wait, I can't hear you.
Oh,
good.
I think where I was unmuting and someone else was unmuting at the same time. You're doing great. And what a great story. I love your story. I love that you've shared that side of you. And when you were talking about your dog and the fact that your dog has helped you put in those boundaries, and then that in turn is, you know, a big chunk of what you do within your business. I just love that comparison and the fact that you have that in your life. It's so great.
Yeah, he's a beautiful piece of the puzzle that I call my life today.
Thank you so much. Right, I'm going to call you V from now on. Thank you, V.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. So,
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Okay, are we ready for our next speaker? I love doing these introductions. Okay, up next we have Kay McCready, and I can't wait to see what she's wearing because she always looks fabulous and fabulous colors. Kay McCready is an emotional health coach, a trauma practitioner, a 9D breathwork facilitator, and founder of Kay McCready Coaching. Kay works with women who have experienced trauma and are ready to move on, breaking free from the cycle of suffering. Welcome, Kay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And tonight I haven't got yellow on.
What's going on? Like, I'm literally channeling you on my sleeves. For those of you who have never seen Kay before, Kay's normally in really bright colors, but I'm loving your outfit tonight.
Thank you.
Kay, over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for the introduction, Abby. It's absolutely incredible to be here tonight, to be on this amazing platform with some incredible, awesome women. And I also want to thank everybody who's watching this tonight as well for actually giving up your time to be here to support this event. So if you don't know me already, my name is Kay McCready, and I'm an emotional health coach, a trauma practitioner, and a 9D breathwork facilitator. So I work with women who've experienced trauma, but they're ready to break free from that cycle of suffering. Through sustainable techniques and strategies, I empower them to embrace their emotions, to turn that pain into power, and to actually rise above life's challenges. And this means that they can create an absolutely awesome life that's filled with joy, fulfillment, and passion. And the reason that I do that is because I lost 10 years of my life stuck in that cycle of suffering after I experienced my own personal trauma. Now, for the last 28 years, I've dealt with trauma on a daily basis. Not my trauma, everybody else's trauma, because I was a police officer for 28 years. And in that time, I dealt with everybody else's worst case scenario, everybody else's worst day. And I was really, really good at that, because one of the skills that you have to have as a police officer is a skill of resilience. And oh my word, I was so resilient. I would go from one job to the next, and I was really able to just detach myself emotionally. And every day when I went to work and I put on the armor, I also put on my emotional armor so that I could protect myself, because it's really difficult and it takes a toll on you. But the struggle really came for me when I experienced my own personal trauma. Now, I lost the most important person in my whole life. And I really, really struggled to deal with that trauma. And I didn't know what to do. I wasn't resilient anymore. And for 10 years of my life, I was depressed. I was drinking alcohol every night. I was taking sleeping tablets like they were coming out of fashion. I was blaming myself. I was doing all of these things that we do because we don't know what else to do. Nobody else had ever shown me how to deal with my emotions, how to process those emotions, how to be with those emotions that were so painful that I didn't want to experience them. And it almost cost me everything, because I ended up trying to take my own life. But you'd be pleased to know that I didn't, and that's why I'm here tonight. And after that, I spent the next 10 years becoming educated, becoming qualified, doing lots of different techniques and strategies that I could implement that would help me move forward. So if you're currently in a position where you've experienced trauma, then first of all, I feel you. I hear you. But let me be that beacon of light to you, to know that no matter what trauma you go through in life, there is always a way. There is always a way to be able to embrace your emotions, to be able to turn that pain into your power, and to rise above life's challenges. And you too can have an awesome life that's filled with joy, filled with happiness, passion, and fulfillment. So if you are that person, please reach out to me. You can contact me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the usual social media platforms. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kay. I am so moved by your story, and it really is a story of resilience. And thank you so much to share it with all of us today. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have our next speaker, everyone. We are going across the Atlantic to Dawn Gadden. Dawn is CEO of Mind Body Counseling and Coaching, and she is a licensed professional counselor, a yoga teacher, a mindset expert, a self-image coach. She's an international speaker, of course she is, and she's a 3-time best-selling author. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm so glad to be here with all of you today.
Dawn, please take it away.
Yes, thank you. As I said, thank you. And not just for being here for us to listen to our story, but thank you, all of you, the entire audience, for being here for yourself, showing up for you. That's priority. So I've been in this business of personal empowerment for over 23 years. And I help professional women who've collected all the accolades, marked all the boxes, right? You have the house, you have the cars, you have the family, have everything, yet still feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, stuck in that trance of unworthiness. So I help my clients create a powerful, positive self-image to get unstuck from that autopilot, just going through the motions, so that you can create the life you choose. And I teach a unique practice called Intensati. And Intensati means mindful intention. It's a practice that aligns heart, body, and mind. With movement, mantras, and meditation, we create lasting positive change. I found Intensati through my yoga training as a yoga teacher, and with 4 amazing boys running around my feet when they were little, all grown up now. It was a practice that I found was the most impactful, powerful thing that allowed me to shift when I needed to shift into my greatest self. And as we may have experienced, there's a lot of shifts that happen in life. And one of the most significant shifts that has happened to me was when I wanted to escape my life. I felt trapped in a job that was sucking the life out of me. And I found this day, it was raining, I was crying again on this drive, and this thought appeared. Just keep driving. Disappear into the world. You're no good to anyone anyway. It's a pretty powerful moment for me. And I was depressed, I was empty, and I was exhausted. I had nothing left to give, not even to my kids. And that's a painful place to be. And I knew they'd be okay, though. Mike would take care of them. He's a great dad. Things would be okay. But I had nothing. You see, we had just bought a beautiful house. We bought our dream home in the middle of the woods to raise our 4 boys. See, we had 2 boys, and then we had twins, identical twin boys. So we have 4 boys now to raise in this beautiful new home, and Mike loses his job. So I give up my passion of being mom, staying home with my kids, and building my business. And I strap on that superhero cape, come to the rescue, save the day, and I get the job. And day after day, I'm feeling more and more empty, ready to escape my life. And then just like that, another voice, another thought appeared. Wake up, Dawn. There's got to be another way. There's always another way. There's always another way. I've always been the person who sees possibility, and I help my clients see possibility. There's always another way. I took a breath, and I knew a shift was coming. Shortly after this experience, I was diagnosed with cancer. Now I have to make some big choices. I need to step into my power and choose my life. So I had to choose between this job that was killing me, but putting food on the table, and my health and my happiness and all my dreams and desires. I had to wake up. I had to end this trance of unworthiness and begin creating my life. And I realized that I was emotionally involved in my pain. I was involved in what I didn't want. And I needed to shift and be involved in my joy and my desires. I had to feed the emotion of my vision. And so I discovered 2 very important things, and I would love for you to write. I invite you to write this down. 2 ingredients I call for the secret sauce of success, happiness, and joyful living. 1, emotions. You must get emotionally involved in the vision of your dreams. What does it feel like as if you were there? Raise your vibration. And 2, inspired action. You have to take inspired action to create what you want. And that's what Intensati does. It's the practice of flexing the muscle of the mind, creating new neural pathways in the brain for what you want for your life. So I hope this has served you. I hope you take away those 2 secret sauces, secret ingredients to the secret sauce to loving your life. And I want to thank you for being here, and I hope this message served you. And until we meet again at the summit in March, I want to offer you a free gift, a little taste of Intensati. As little as 3 minutes a day, you can create a high vibe state. Elevate your thoughts, elevate your emotions, elevate your action. And it's just a 3-minute mindset reset. Super simple. DawnGayden.com. It's on my website. And so grab that. And I just want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from my coach, Bob Proctor. It's sad to see a child afraid of the dark. It's sadder to see an adult afraid of their light. So please let your light shine so bright for the world to see. You are worthy, you matter, and you are enough. Thank you. And that's my alarm.
Just I love it. You were timing yourself. Amazing. Dawn, thank you for sharing your secret sauce.
Yeah.
And a really good reminder for all of us, every single one of us, about the importance of putting ourselves first. We can't be everything to everyone, and we need to be able to fill up our cup, right? So that we can be in service of others. And it was so wonderful for you to share your story with us today. Thank you so much, Dawn.
Thank you. So good to be here with all of you. Appreciate it.
Great. So, oh my goodness, we have got more speakers to share with you. I want to know how you're feeling in the chat. Who is really standing out for you? What is resonating for you? What are your main takeaways from our wonderful speakers so far? And remember, our speakers are also on hand as well. If you have any questions or you want to reach out to them, then just message them in the chat and they will be able to answer any of the questions that you have. So we are moving on to our next wonderful speaker. We are moving into the wellness arena now with Melissa Rose. Melissa is founder and CEO of Sagebrush Wellness, LLC. She's a functional medicine practitioner and health coach. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. The stage is yours.
Excellent. Thank you. I am so excited to be here today with this amazing group of ladies and each of you who have chosen to come on with us. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Melissa Rose. I am the owner and founder of Sagebrush Wellness. And what we do here is really help our clients lean in and understand clearly what is actually behind they're not feeling well. So it has been it's been a journey of my own that has brought me to this place. So I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 33, and I can echo a lot of the other gals that have come before in this show, in that when you get something like that to come into your life. I remember when I was sitting in the doctor's office and was receiving my diagnosis, I was already having major trouble walking. My left side didn't work at all. I was dragging my left side. I couldn't feel to touch anything. I had 3 young boys at home, and I knew what the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis meant because most of the gals in my family had it, and I saw what it could do. My grandmother had passed away with it. I knew the wreck that it makes of your body. And in that moment, when he was like, "You have multiple sclerosis," and quite frankly, what he said after that, I don't even remember because my brain just kind of died a minute. And to be honest with you, in the days after that, like, he wanted me to choose a medication that I wanted to use to slow down the progression. And I didn't know what to do. I was just scared, really, really scared. And I remember in the days after, even though I chose to not do anything, I started to give up, started to grieve what was going to not happen in my life. And I should have queued up a picture for you. One of my goals was to be able to dance with my kids at their wedding. And about a month and a half ago, I got to do that. But I wouldn't have gotten to do that if I hadn't been able to fully recover. And so, sorry, I didn't mean to cry on this interview, but you guys, this is really, really real. And I'm not the only one that walks through this pathway. When we get a big diagnosis that has no remedy or no cure, it's a tough place to be. I had big plans. I was going to change the world. I had a business I was growing. I had a passion that I was building on. And I literally gave that up. But when I started to recover, actually doing much the same work that I am trained in, and I'm training my team in, and how we serve people today, when my body started to recover, and the light started to come on that maybe I was going to be okay, one of my very first things was, how can I help other people recover from diagnoses and illnesses that, quote unquote, there is no recovery from? And what I started to learn, and both in training as well as in clinical practice, is that when we can uncover what is driving the unwellness in our body at all levels, physiologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of it is closely tied together. But when we can clearly define what those things are, we can address those holistically, and guess what? Our bodies start to recover. Seriously. And this is what has become my passion. I've worked in this field since 2017. I've been honored to be in clinical trials as one of the practitioners, working with people with rare autoimmune diseases or ones that don't have a name yet. I'm just really in love with how our bodies work. We're amazing, you guys. There is no ceiling when we can really support our bodies as a whole, but not just our bodies, our mind and our spirit. So what we do here, what I do every day, is I support change makers in the world. We've got this big vision, this big passion, this big thing that we want to do. And then our bodies start to break down and that starts to slip away, right? That's who we serve. We help you dig in, figure out what's going on with your body, and then help you turn that around using holistic methods. So if this is something that you're going, okay, that's me, I'm in, I want to learn more, feel free to go to our website at sagebrushwellness.com, just like it sounds. There are two specific services that I put on the website just for you guys. One is a functional health assessment. So this is a very thorough assessment. You go through answering questions just using your symptoms, and you're able to pinpoint your top 3 areas of concern in the body. And we look at the body systems. Okay. The second free resource that I put on there for you is a quiz or a questionnaire helping you pinpoint, do I have parasites? And I know that's an icky subject, maybe, but in this work with autoimmune clients and people who have illnesses going on that they don't really know what's causing it, oftentimes we run into parasites as being a major player here. And I've put this free quiz on there. You can go through it and see what you kind of rate yourself as to what is potentially an issue for you. And we're accepting new clients into our practice. You can pop in for an introductory call. There are links all over the website for you to do that. And I would be so, so very honored to help you walk your recovery journey.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for sharing your story so beautifully and powerfully. There's so much love for you in the comments. And I think so many people can resonate with your story. And I know that I get to interview you for our podcast next week, and I can't wait to dig deeper into your story and into your quest. Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Whew. Okay, so let's take a breath, everyone. How are you finding our speakers so far? I am absolutely loving this, introducing you to our wonderful speakers. And we have another wonderful woman, a complete powerhouse to introduce you to now, Julie Jones. She's a speaker, she's an author, she's a breakthrough coach at the Adventures of Julie Jones. And she coaches individuals to break through their fears, living a life without regret, and having the courage to be who they are meant to be. Welcome, Julie.
Oh my gosh, welcome. And it wouldn't be the same if I didn't throw these on for you so that we could get this, this segment started right?
Really, I was waiting for them. I'm not going to lie.
I know, I know. I mean, what a powerful segment so far. And everybody's such vulnerable shares. And there really, I believe, is a theme of like self-love, self-care that's happening today. And talk about how important that is for all of us, especially as women or for anybody who's listening in, right? So it's just such a great opportunity. And I'm always excited. I love your bright colors and I love that necklace. You just look stunning today. So thank you for having me today. All right, so let me just get started because I just have a quick few minutes to share. And I want to ask you this. Who out there is overworked, overwhelmed, and stressed? Who finds themselves sometimes on the hamster wheel of life? And so for me, I wanted to share today a personal story about how I found myself there and what I did to get off. See, if you know anything about me, I am the yes girl. I love saying yes to life opportunities. However, there was a time that I found myself saying yes too much to the have tos in life. Do you want to volunteer? Yes. Do you want to sit on this board? Yes. Do you want to do this? Yes, 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 yes. See, because I have a servant's heart. And so I found myself saying yes to too many things that were obligations rather than what I truly wanted to do. And there was a moment in time where I was so overcommitted, so overwhelmed that the one thing I wanted to say yes to, I almost said no to. See, I'm very close with my family, especially since my mother died almost 20 years ago from early onset Alzheimer's, which had a major impact in our family. My brother was throwing his wife a surprise birthday party, and I wanted to be there. But I looked at my calendar and I was like, oh my gosh, there is no way that I can be at that event. My brother called me to ask me if I was attending. And I had to say in that moment, no. I heard the disappointment in his voice. I got off that, call and I thought to myself, Julie, what are you doing? Like, really, honestly, like, it's about living life. It's about saying yes to what you love to do. And for me, being with family is one of the most important things. And so I quickly started canceling everything. I started calling people and excusing myself. But that was after I curled into a ball and cried. See, because I don't like having to pull back after I've given my word. Like Kay, we have something similar that I'm a former police officer. So my word is my bond. And when I give a commitment, I stand strong in that commitment. So I didn't like the feeling of, having to now say no to everyone. But I knew that it was important for me to be at my sister-in-law's birthday party. And it was. The look on her face is a priceless memory that when she came into the room and first of all saw the surprise birthday party, but more importantly, when she saw me there. See, because I live in Arizona and my family lives in Wisconsin. And that to me made that moment matter. And so for you, I want to remind you that it's important for you to say yes to life opportunities, but also say yes to boundaries, right? Like, has anybody ever seen the movie The Yes Man by Jim Carrey? If you haven't, it's your homework tonight. I want you to say yes to me about this because the premise in the movie is that a lot of times that he said no to so many life opportunities. And when he went to a seminar to say and said yes and started saying yes, it opened up the doors in his world of all of life's opportunities. What are you not saying yes to that's going to open those doors and get you off the hamster wheel of life? As a breakthrough coach and a productivity coach, it's what I love to do. I love to show people how you can be productive and truly live a life that you design and you create rather than having a life by default. And it's all about finding finding what is your passion, what inspires you to go out there and live out your dreams. See, I have a platform called Stop Waiting, Start Living, because as a police officer, I saw how quickly life can change. I saw it in my own life when my mom passed away at the age of 59. I decided in those moments that I was not going to wait on my life and in my dreams. So I'm out there encouraging people, everybody that's listening out there, what will you say yes to? And the first thing that you can say yes to is my gift to you. I have a gift today of you booking just a free 30-minute phone call with me. Bring to me what you are really, truly struggling with what you want to break through, and I will help you. I love coming up with a million ideas to support you in creating the life that you deserve. You matter. You are enough. And start making your life happen.
Julie, like a pro. Thank you so much. Love your energy as always. And I love the dog was joining in and getting fired up about what you were saying.
You know what? Yeah, she's a female too. And she's always like, woo, I got something to say as well.
Mine does it all the time. Like, I totally get, but I think when the animals show up, like, you know that the magic's happening, right? We get the cats on the Zoom calls, we get the dogs while we're speaking. It's all good.
Yes, it is. Thank you again for this opportunity. It's always such a pleasure to be here and to know that maybe I inspired somebody just a little bit.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we have heard from a lot of incredible stories, right, from our speakers today, stories of resilience and overcoming hardships, and really inspirational stories of hope. And what I really love about when we bring women together like this to present on stages, whether it's on a stage in person or whether it's a virtual stage like this, it's really powerful when we come together and we share our big vision. We share our mission. We share our values, and we share what we are bringing into fruition in this world. I was speaking to someone about it today, actually, on a podcast. And, we were talking about like our words bring things into manifestation, into fruition. We can have all these hopes and all these dreams and the way that we want to create our lives, the difference that we want to make in other people's lives. But if we don't speak it, if we don't speak it through using our voices into this world and manifest it in this world, that's all it stays. It just stays as a hope and a dream that is buried inside of our heads. But when we actually speak it, we speak it into existence. We bring it into this world. And I'd really love to take the opportunity for you to share in the chat right now, what is your big vision? Why are you interested in being with us on an event like this? What would you like to bring into fruition? What do you see in your future? What do you see in the future for yourself? And what do you see in the future for other women? This is a very empowering, supportive community. I'm sure that you can tell that, right? By the speakers, they're showing up in their truth and their pure energy and their brilliance. And they are sharing vulnerably. They're sharing their stories with you. And the reason that they're sharing their stories with you is that they are here to inspire others. They want to make a difference in other people's lives. And I'm sure that you feel the same. I'm sure that that's why you are attracted to us and you follow our community, and even you're a part of our community. So I'd really, really love to know what your big visions are. So Marie, my big vision is to change the paradigm of education, to share this type of work, and not only with women, but also our youth. Imagine if our kids and teens had more of this. Yes, Marie, I really, really love that. It's so inspiring to change the paradigm of education. What would that look like? What would that be like? Maybe you have a similar vision, but you haven't shared it yet. Maybe you haven't shared it with your community, or maybe you haven't even shared it with your family and your close friends. And if you're feeling like that, if you feel that you have a mission and a vision and you want to share your truth and your story with the world, I really encourage you to take action. Use our event today to inspire yourself to take that action and to share that with the world, because you never know who's listening, you never know who's watching, and you never know who is inspired by your story. So I'd really love to know more about your big visions and your vision, your mission in the chat as we go through, and we can read it out and we can put it up here on screen. It would be lovely to hear from some of you. But what we're going to do now is we are going to move on to our next wonderful speaker. I'd love to introduce you to the wonderful Jackie Adams. She's a hypnotist, a breath worker, and a healer, and she helps clients eliminate thoughts, patterns, habits, and stored trauma that no longer serve them, while enhancing their capacity for success, love, and abundance. One of my favorite words. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. My name's Jackie Adams, and I help female entrepreneurs to heal their trauma and eliminate stress on a subconscious level in order to step into the highest level version of themselves and thereby amplify their business growth and expansion. I use an integrative approach as a certified hypnotist, breathwork facilitator, and energy healer, along with utilizing my many years of experience as a registered nurse, people leader, and digital marketer. And my clients typically come to me to get rid of their anxiety or release their limiting beliefs associated with their business. And I do all of that because through the power of unlocking my own subconscious mind, I've been able to accomplish little things such as stopping, nighttime teeth grinding and giving birth with no medications and stopping a head cold in its tracks. But I've also been able to achieve the objects of how I define success, which is having true inner peace and a purposeful business. And my story begins when I was young. I didn't have very much materially growing up. And that's because I developed a pattern for consistently living in scarcity, in lack. I made choices based out of fear of losing what I had and held the belief strongly that I could never have the lifestyle that I truly wanted. I became a toxic overachiever. Anybody else overachievers out there? Show me. Show me the comments. It was as if my body was involuntarily addicted to stress, but my conscious mind would never, ever admit that. So I chose a career path of becoming a nurse because I craved safety and security. I got married, I had children, and I thought reaching these milestones would make those feelings go away, but I was wrong. If anything, they got worse. So sure, I was happy. I love my family. Of course, I love my kids, but I never stopped feeling constantly stressed, worried, or fearful, regardless of my external circumstances, whatever they were. And somehow I found myself in situations where I was in revolving states of stress and anxiety, worrying about the future, not having enough, just on and on and on. And each time I would think the solution would be to make more money or have more time. And yet, whenever I would make more money or have more time in my life, I would always find a way back to these default feelings and patterns. So one day I came across a success story of someone like me who was able to make the money they wanted and have the lifestyle where they could spend all the time with their families and live in abundance of what they craved. And they did that by starting their own business. But that scared me, right? Because entrepreneurship is uncertain, it's risky, things that I did not want to experience at all. But for some reason, in that moment, I allowed my purpose to be bigger than my fear. And That was a mindset shift that I needed at that moment and that I've had to reinforce over time as well. So once I started building this business, which by the way was the first of many, anybody else have lots of practice businesses? There was an intense amount of personal development that had to happen, just had to happen. So I began to peel back the layers of what had held me back in my life from my childhood through adulthood. And it became clear to me that the traumas I had experienced and the circumstances I had been raised in had made me this amazing person I am today, who was resilient and hardworking, but yet also the same person who was stuck in these relentless loops of limiting beliefs, recurring patterns, and default emotions that I did not consciously choose for myself. And while I wasn't responsible for the origin of these subconscious programs, I quickly learned that I am certainly responsible for fixing them. I am responsible for allowing myself to believe with certainty and safety that I can and will create the life I truly want of financial security, freedom, and family. That it is safe to take up space in this world, to shine my light, and then inspire others to do the same. And I didn't do that by thinking my way into success. No, I actually immersed myself into deep reprogramming of my beliefs, which then in turn influenced my thoughts, language, actions, and behaviors. I invested literally everything I had into traveling the world to go to multiple self-help events, retreats. I hired coaches, healers. I walked on fire 7 times just to prove to myself the power of my subconscious mind. And along the way, I became certified in modalities that helped me the most, which were life coaching, hypnosis, breathwork, and Reiki. But I've also now found a way to integrate all of these practices in to be able to facilitate the same level of changes for my clients. And they don't even have to walk on fire like I did, unless they want to. Come with me. But it's now my mission to educate other women like you to use these incredible tools. These tools can bridge the gap between who you are now and the highest level version of yourself that you are becoming, because you deserve to experience love, joy, and freedom, and to be able to radiate that out into your business so that you can expand upon the gifts you already have and change lives. So thank you so much for listening to my story. If you found any value in this, I would invite you to follow me on Instagram. My handle is right there @_it's Jackie Adams. And there's a link on my Instagram bio to a free hypnosis audio to eliminate your limiting beliefs. It's a little hypno track. Thank you so much.
Am I going to pop up? Here I
There
am.
you are.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yes.
We love a little hypno track.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious. I've written down here. I'm taking notes. I always do because I'm so inspired by all of you. And I've put I am responsible, and I've put a big heart around it. And we all need to be reminded of that we're responsible for our own happiness and everything that we bring into this world. And I love what you're doing, and I love your story. And it's so amazing to have you on here. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Woo! We are just over halfway through. How are you doing? I want to know in the chat. Feeling inspired? Do you need some water? Do you need a comfort break? How are we doing? I noticed actually, Cryotherapy Barnsley, is that you, Joe? I'd like to see a world where women and girls are aware and in touch with their emotions, where they're not afraid to express themselves and be brave enough to stand up for their wants and needs. How beautiful is that? Thank you so much for sharing. And, we talk so much about empowering women, but empowering our young women from such an early age so that they're inspired and they understand that they have choices and they have boundaries and they can express their emotions, and not being afraid to do that is such wonderful work in this world. And I'm sure that those of you who are mothers can really resonate with that and really relate to that. And those of you who are mothers who are watching us today, how incredibly fortunate and blessed are your children to have you as their mamas, showing them the way and leading them forward in this lovely vision and mission. Okay, Jane, I am loving these stories, ladies. Yeah, Jane, aren't they great? Ramonda Jan is in the house. So for those of you who have only just started following us, I'm sure that I think normally on these events we have a lot of our wonderful community here, but Ramonda Jan is our amazing founder, and congratulations, Ramonda, on your beautiful little girl. We love you and we miss you, and all of this is created from your vision. All of this is created from you bringing those thoughts out of your mind and speaking them into fruition. And what an incredible stage that you have created from your big vision and your mission. We miss you so much. We hope you're having a wonderful time being a new mama in that new mama bubble, and we can't wait to welcome you back in. And thank you so much for watching. How does it feel watching instead of presenting? Ramonda normally presents these events, but I'm doing it on her behalf today because Ramonda is on maternity leave. Okay, are we ready for our next speaker? Let's show some love for her in the comments. Put a yes or a little love heart, or whichever way you want to show some love. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing an incredible lady, Wanda Lavelle. She is a mindset and storytelling coach and founder of My Power Place. She's a storytelling coach, and she helps her clients become more confident communicators and course creators. She's the author of the book, Okay, Judge Me. I really love that title, by the way. And the creator of the Girl on Fire training series. Wanda, welcome, 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 my lovely.
Hey, 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 can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Beautiful, Wanda. The stage is yours.
Oh my goodness, Abby, you did like a little reset a little while ago, and I just want to follow in suit with the flow of what's happening and the power of your words. So today I want to share with you a story, like a lived story of just how powerful our inner story, our beliefs are, even when we don't speak them. They can be so loud and so confirming that we start to create our environment with it. So before I jump into the story, and let me tell you, you're going to crack up at this story. Maybe you'll even see yourself in the story. I'm Wanda Lavelle, and I'm on a mission to help introverted entrepreneurs learn how to step from behind the scenes and really step into this new place that God is calling you to be. And it's this place where you're not Girl Friday, you're not the butcher, the baker, or the candlestick maker, you know, the girl who does all the things, right? Like Julie said, you're saying all the yeses to all the things, right? But now you feel that God is divinely calling you to step out and share all those methods, those systems, those skills, those experiences that you've been holding with you deep inside your soul with a cup of coffee and under a comforter. So what I love to do is help these builders and trailblazers learn how to first unravel their inner story so that they can now unlock those lived experiences and personal stories that are transformative to communities that they're called to speak to, right? So what I found in my life is that when I would grab a microphone, it was like all of a sudden I would transform into this other person because it was igniting this teaching gift. I was like addicted to seeing people learn and grow. But as soon as I put the microphone down, the energy was like, see ya, I'm checking out. Week or two, you may not be able to find me. So people would say, oh my goodness, girl, you are not an introvert. And I'm like, yeah, I am. After this conference, you won't be able to get me for about 3 weeks to a month. I'm going to need to recuperate. And so in this dispensation of AI and knowledge working and all this information in tech, it's going to be a little difficult for us as introverts to stay abreast of what is happening and stay on the cutting edge, because attention is currency and connection is currency. And we do that very differently. And so I want to rewrite your narrative that you cannot be successful as an introvert, or now you have to morph into an extrovert and you have to become something that you're not. There is an introvert advantage for you in the coaching industry, in the business industry. You were created for such a time as this. And there are giftings in you that your other business owners, creators, coaches, and ministry leaders don't tap the same way. So let's jump into this story, right? Talking about this inner story. Melancholy and introverted, I am tapping a little bit of Hippocratic tempers, the 4 tempers. Melancholy and usually introverted creators have very big minds, right? So we have to watch what we think about, because we will create this world. There was another one of our amazing ladies who talked about how what we believe and what we think will begin to affect our physical body, our health. And we need to be very conscious of that, right? So here I was, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. I had made this big decision that I was going to show up in a big way and take my own medicine. I'm going to step from behind the shadows. I'm going to step onto these stages and show my fellow ladies in ministry, my other Christian leaders in business, other introverts, that you can do this. So I was at a conference, right? And so I'm the last one to be announced, right? Standing in the wings, heart is pounding in my chest. I'm counting backwards, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then they said, all right, let's get ready to start this conference. This is all our speakers. Let's give them a big hand clap. And they had never announced Wanda Lavelle. The host of the event happened to be standing right there beside me. And she looked at me. Her eyes got so big, her mouth dropped. She goes, Wanda, I am so sorry. Let me run up there and grab the mic. I don't know what happened. Why didn't they announce you? My daughter, who happened to be my wing woman that day, was there with me. And she was like, oh no, I can't believe they just did this. What? I couldn't. And all I did was I got quiet. And I just heard the voice of the Spirit say, you're breaking this. This is what you have believed. And your environment is used to you not showing up. And this is just an experience of what you've believed on the inside. But the minute you walk to that stage, it will be broken and everything will be different. Man, I don't tell this story often, but when I do, I really laugh about it now. I go, can you imagine being invited to speak at an event and they forget to announce that you're a speaker? Well, it's because of the power of that inner story. It was creating things in my lifestyle. And when I began to see it, I was just like, okay, this is a Genesis 1:26 moment. I have been creating what I believed and what I'm saying, like who's going to listen to me? What do I have to say? I should stay behind the scenes. I'm like the worker bee. This is where I belong. And so those beliefs had created my reality. But let me tell you, that day your girl was there to slay and change that thing. So I want to talk to you out there, whether you are an introverted entrepreneur or whether you're being quiet about something beautiful that's been divinely deposited in your spirit. This is your moment to step into the spotlight and share it. I have a freebie for you, and I'll drop it in the comments.
Wanda, what a story! Wow.
Thank you for sharing. I
Thank
love when you
you.
share. I love your stories. I love your energy. Thank you for sharing your brilliance with us. And you were making me chuckle when you were telling that story. Mwah! Lots of love to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd love to know in the comments if you have a similar story to that. I do, but maybe I'll tell that another time. So I wanted to speak directly to you, beautiful woman who is watching this, who watches us, who maybe attends our events, and maybe you are thinking to yourself, I would really love to speak on this stage. I would really love to have this experience. I would really love to share my story, but I'm not ready yet. I'm not experienced enough. I'm not an experienced speaker. I don't belong there. And what I'd really love to say to you is if you really desire this, then go for it. And I'm not just talking about the Women Thrive Summit. I'm talking about anything that you desire to do in your life. Because you desire it, it means that it exists. When we desire something, it's already there for us. All we need to do is step out of the way and receive it and make things happen. So maybe now is your opportunity to step out of your own way, to step through the fear. And listen, if you want to come and speak on our stage and you want to have that opportunity to put yourself forward for it, it doesn't matter if you're not an experienced speaker. I don't know if you're aware of this, but actually 30% of our speakers have never spoken on stages before. And it's very important that we provide the opportunities for all women to have a voice, for all women to share their stories, and for all women to speak on stages. And I know for a fact that when Raimonda, many years ago was putting together her vision and putting together these opportunities for all women, that was very much in her mind. She saw that there weren't that many opportunities for women who had never spoken before to be able to speak on a stage like this and to be aligned with a brand like Women Thrive. And she was very, very adamant about creating that, about creating the opportunity for that, for all women to step into. And a few weeks ago, I was very honored to interview a testimonial video with one of our former speakers, Wendy Concannon, and I want to share her beautiful testimonial video with you now.
I am a life and relationship coach. I am the CEO and founder of Divine Growth Coaching. With my business, I have a program that's called Discovering True Love and Connection, because it's all about discovering the love that's within ourselves that really helps us thrive in life and in all areas of our lives. When we believe we're worthy and deserving to receive love and deserving to receive abundance and financial abundance and success, right? And it all boils down to us really stepping into that love. So when I interviewed with Raimonda, that was my second interview. I had interviewed the year before, and I was in the midst of doing a lot of little things. Her and I completely hit it off, but it wasn't quite the right time, and I understood. So I quite didn't make it, but everything happens for a reason. I saw this email about setting up an interview to be part of the summit again. And I was like, oh, let me try this again. Something told me to apply. So I took a chance on me, and I was like, you know what? It's not about me. It's about the message that I want to convey. And I'm going to trust that's going to get me through it. And I got to work with some amazing women. I got to grow and learn from all the women that were there. It was a beautiful experience. And I got to say, in one of those weekly Zooms, I remember like the first weekly Zoom I joined, I went in and these women were speaking so eloquently and so much wisdom and so much love. And my ego was like, what am I doing here? Like literally I had imposter syndrome. And I remember I turned off my camera, took a couple of deep breaths, and I said, I am here because I am meant to be here, and I'm gonna own this, and I'm gonna shine my light, and I'm gonna learn from these women and the experience change for me. The collaboration between the women behind closed doors, the support that we got not only from Raymonda, but from the staff that were working there. And of course, the amazing, beautiful energy that was attracted into the summit, and the people who participated, who just brought on their beautiful energy, which made things flow easy. People were really alive and connected, and it just brought this beautiful container for us women to shine our light and to support one another and to listen to one another. Raymonda and her staff put a lot of time into it, because even though there's so many moving parts, you have a team that's holding you accountable and walking you step by step on what's the next thing you have to do. So that was really good thing to have within the summit. Meeting other people, being able to collaborate with other people, being able to be exposed, being able to be in a platform with a group of women, because when you join the summit, you have this beautiful platform. It's not just the summit, it's the platform where we get to post and support one another. It's beautiful, all the opportunities that come out from this. Your story matters. We all have a story, because your story is somebody else's story. Being able to hold that story, tell that story would not only help you heal, but it will help inspire other women to step into their greatness. So it's about allowing your story to empower you and not to define you. So if you're considering it and something's holding you back, it's really fear, because you don't think you're good enough. And I want you to know that you are good enough, and we do have a story to tell, and you have a story to tell. So I want you to, if you step here and when you tell your story, it comes from your heart, there's no way other people are not going to resonate with it. When you can show up authentically, vulnerably, you're going to connect with everyone there, because we're all connected through here. We're all connected through love, and people are going to resonate with that story.
I absolutely love watching our testimonial videos, and I'm so inspired by our speakers every single day, by our former speakers, by our present speakers. I say former speakers, everyone's still a speaker, right? We're still in this wonderful speaking community. That obviously wasn't Wendy. I forgot that we'd swapped her out. So for those of you who wanted to listen to Wendy, you can go over to our YouTube. On our YouTube, you will be able to see all of our testimonial videos, but also on the Women Thrive Summit website, which we are putting the links on now. You will be able to go on there, and if you scroll down, you will be able to see our testimonials for our wonderful former speakers. And the reason that I wanted to share Armida with you is that she talks very specifically there about a time that she was in the community. She was on a call with the other speakers, and she had this doubt. She had this imposter syndrome, and she started to doubt whether she had a place at the table. And I would love for you to share in the comments if you've ever felt like that. Put a yes in the comments if you've ever felt not good enough, if you've had that imposter syndrome, if you've walked into a community and I don't belong here. Or maybe it's just like that feeling, and that shrinking feeling. I can definitely resonate with that. And the reason that I wanted to share that with you, we wanted to share that with you, is to let you know that all of us feel like that. We often feel like that. But what we can do is, instead of giving into that fear, we can walk into it. We can walk into that fear, and we can do what Amidas did. You know, all we need to do is just switch off our camera and take a deep breath and say, I have a seat at the table. And if you've been following us for a while, and you've been following Raymonda for a while, you will have heard Raymonda say on several occasions, every woman deserves a place at the table. And that is what we're so passionate about creating for all of you. So we have this incredible, diverse community of speakers, women from many different backgrounds and ages and speaking experiences. And here's the thing. And I am talking to you right now, if you are wavering around whether to make a decision to apply or not. If you don't apply, if you don't even try, then that's a wasted opportunity. And life isn't for wasted opportunities. Life is for living and for saying yes to the things that light you up, even when it feels so super scary. Saying yes to the opportunities that come our way. And I wanted to remind you that our doors will be closing at the end of this week. So if you want to come on and you want to be considered and apply to be a speaker on one of our events, then click on the link that we're going to be putting into the comments and make that decision today. And you never know what is at the other end, that opportunity. Okay, so we are going to be introducing the rest of our wonderful speakers. And this time we are zooming over to the other side of the world. Isn't it amazing technology, right? That we can do this. We could just go different places in the world. We're going to take you over to Marie Ferguson. Marie is a feminine embodiment coach, a thought leader, a master in education, and an advanced breathwork facilitator. Welcome, Marie.
Hello, everybody. It is almost 5:30 a.m. here. Can you guys hear me all okay over there?
Yeah,
beautiful.
Thank you for joining us so early, Marie.
It is all good. It has been so inspiring and just uplifting to start my day with listening to these amazing stories. So before I even begin, can we just celebrate ourselves, give ourselves some little clicks and snaps? And I'd love for us to just honor ourselves for being here in this moment, in the now. Because when was the last time that you celebrated yourself? As mothers, as women, as women, we all have the mother and nurturer in us. So when we think about womanhood, it's innate in us, whether you're mothering your nieces and nephews, your fur babies, your friends. When I speak about the work that I do, I love tapping into understanding about these characters that we put on, these hats that we as women play, and these characters that we somehow step into. And there's been some really beautiful stories and pieces of insight about womanhood, about trauma, about understanding our emotions more. And so my background is in education primarily. I do have a master's in education, specializing in the arts. So working in the drama field, working in dance and embodiment, in expression, in play. I've been surrounded by young learners who have an array of backgrounds and experiences, who I see come with not good enough, unworthy. I can't do that. I'm not going to take risks. So it's interesting when we think about our own journeys and our own stories and question where we stem back from our childhood or from our teenage years, where some of these narratives and limiting beliefs cling on. And so the story that I'm going to share with you today is a combination of understanding these facets, understanding my journey into motherhood. I have a daughter that's 7 years old, but also bringing in all of these pieces of understanding that the women have already shared in this space about transformation, about understanding self, coming back to self-love. When I stepped into my motherhood journey, I taught children for a very long time. So the nurturer in me was so happy to connect and give and dance and do all the things for the kids in front of me in the classroom. And coming into motherhood, then I put all that energy into nurturing this beautiful little being that chose me. Coming into motherhood, no one tells you about any of the stuff. Well, I was never told. And a lot of the women and the connections in my circles, again, some of them were never told some of the insights into what actually happens, some of the emotional impact that it can have on you as well. And so I had my daughter. It was a beautiful process. I threw myself into motherhood, and it was this beautiful big journey. It was like this rite of passage that sets the tone and makes you step into another layer of responsibility. Went along my normal life, my beautiful husband supporting me. I mean, fatherhood is a journey on its own that is different. And learning to navigate that together was interesting and beautiful and hard all at the same time. So when it came time to decide, okay, let's have another child because it's the thing to do. I've got the job, life is good, bought the house, I have a daughter, let's expand. And what hit me about 2.5 years ago was an experience that catalyzed me. It was a traumatic experience of dealing with miscarriage. And I had 3 miscarriages back to back in a 9-month period. And these parts of womanhood about motherhood don't really get spoken about a lot. There is still a taboo, there is still shame, there is still pieces within us and within society that find it really hard. And I get it. Like going through that, going through these grief experiences really catalyze you to go within. So I went on a journey inwards. There was a point in time, the first miscarriage, I had a really traumatic event, healed myself, did the things. I thought I grieved. Second one came soon after. I wasn't expecting. My body wasn't well. The third one, almost 6 months later, 7 months later, I was healthy, I'd prepared, I'd grieved, I'd done all the things. I thought I healed my trauma. It came back tenfold. And that I was not prepared for. A layer of rage, a layer of jealousy, all of these pieces that are not me. These human pieces of our emotions. And we've heard a lot about emotional intelligence through many speakers today. But emotions are energy in motion. Our body wisdom has these emotions for a reason. And when we suppress, whether we're women or men, we see it in our men, we see it in our children, we see it in our teens. When we suppress and put it down, it's going to explode. So I went on a journey inwards to learn more about my emotional intelligence, to learn coming back to self-love, to actually coming back to the womb space, back to the space where we have been created from. When you think about epigenetics, your grandmother, your mother, and your child, your daughter, that's my daughter, are all interconnected. So when we think about intergenerational trauma, the epigenetics makes sense. And you go back quite a number of lineage pieces. So the work I do in the feminine embodiment work that I engage with my beautiful women and also with teens that I'm starting to progress in looks at these lineage pieces, looks at emotional intelligence, but also looks at our menstrual cycles. Because imagine if we could frame our energy with our cycles, because we as women are cyclical beings. What if we could come back to character, come back to these archetypal figures of the maiden, the youth, the mother, the wild wise woman who's emotional and feeling sensations, and the crone. The crone, the wise woman within us all. What if we could understand that and bring that to our daily lives? Because we as women work on a monthly cycle. Men can just 24 hours reset. So the feminine, the masculine work within self and within partners and with community is the work that I love doing. So if you are interested in learning some more, I've got some beautiful free gifts. I've got a beautiful masterclass that talks about these ancient practices and these lineage pieces, as well as understanding our cycles, and just another insight into looking at these roles, looking at these characters. And could we step into understanding another part of our body wisdom and learning how to embody that, integrate that into our daily life? So I'll add a beautiful Calendly link and also a free masterclass in the chat. And you can come and find me at Marie Ferguson on Facebook, or type in www.menarcheproject.com. And menarche means our first bleed. So that's our first feminine rite of passage. And this is why I love working with teenagers, to help unveil these mysteries, unveil these other ways of thinking, to reframe their understanding of self-love, their understanding of their bodies and their energy. So thank you.
Marie, thank you. It's so fascinating hearing you speak about that, and so important for us as women, right? To really understand that and to connect in with our cycles and our bodies, and such an important subject to learn about. And yeah, thank you for coming on so early. We appreciate you. We love that you're in our community. Thank you for sharing your beautiful wisdom.
Thank you. Thanks for
Marie.
having me.
Okay, well, our next speaker is celebrating this week because she has just launched her new podcast, Your Guide to Happiness and Fulfillment. She's an energetic and uplifting speaker and life coaching, helping women who have achieved great successes but still feel unhappy in life. She's a life coach, a mindset expert, and I love this, an unapologetic happiness creator. Jane Wareham, welcome. Jane, I see you in the green room, but I don't see you on the screen. Okay, am I going to have to ad-lib now and do a bit of a sing and dance until you come on? I can see Jane, and she's in the green room, and I can't get her in, and we need to get Jane in. What can we do? Here she is.
I don't know if you could hear me, so but
I'm here.
Amazing. See, it was meant to be. You just needed a few extra moments. You know, you've been absolutely amazing this entire event.
Thank you. The stage is yours, Jane.
Thank you so much. So as Abby just said, my name is Jane Wareham. I am a life coach, mindset expert, and coined, unapologetic happiness creator. So I'm here because I love to help women who have it all. I'll say have it all in quotations, but still feel like something is missing. They've truly lost sight of their passions, of their joy. They've lost confidence. And this is what I help them find. So today, I want to share with you how you can really unlock your happiness so you can truly flourish and honestly, love the life that you're living. And I'm so passionate about this because I want to help accelerate things for you. I want to help accelerate your journey towards a happier life. So maybe you can hop, skip, and jump over some of the hurdles that are, I want to say, in front of you, but they're really inside you. So I want to take things back a little bit. I want to share something with you. We're going to use our imagination for a moment. So I want you to imagine this. Imagine you are in your late 20s. Thinking back to your 20s, okay. You're in your late 20s, in the peak of your corporate career. You are getting promotions. You are crushing it. You are loving life. You love the hustle and grind so much that it basically fuels your soul. You were like, I'm meant for this. I went to school for this. This is incredible. You're making more money than you probably know what to do with. So you're buying all the things that you want, and you're taking all the trips that you want, because why wouldn't you? But for some reason, you feel like something is missing. You feel like something is really missing from your life. And you're not exactly as happy as you thought you would be after having all those amazing things. And you're not exactly sure why. This was me. This was me 10 years ago. You see, the reason I felt this way, and maybe you're feeling this way too right now, is because something had really changed for me. So when I started out my career in my early 20s versus where I was at, where we just imagined in our late 20s, something had changed. I had changed. I had grown, evolved. And what I once valued in my early 20s was no longer important to me. And here's what I realized. I realized that life was a lot more than a 9-to-5 job that I was constantly hustling and grinding. My stress levels were higher than I ever want to see again, and my health was truly sliding. I wanted more out of life. I really wanted more. And I was ready for more, and I was ready for something more purposeful. So here's what I did. I decided to quit my job. In my late 20s, I quit my project management career. I sold everything I owned, and I traveled the world on a one-way ticket, basically around the world. So from Iceland, Eastern Europe, I'm talking the entire coast of Eastern Europe, Australia, New Zealand, lived there for 8 months, made my way to Thailand, Vietnam. Seriously, this was fulfilling my newly identified values. Those core values within me that were freedom, travel, adventure, wellness, independence. I was immersing myself in new cultures. I was meeting new people, having an active job. I'm all about health and wellness too. And I was truly living my best life. Now, how great does that sound? You're like, oh my gosh, maybe you've done this yourself. If you love travel, say, yes, I love travel right now. But now imagine this. I've been traveling for 2 years. I'm sitting on a beach in Thailand. I am watching the sunset go down. If you start following me on social media, you're going to see how much I love sunsets and sunrises. I was watching it go down. And again, something was missing. I thought, what the heck is going on? How can this be? Everything I thought I wanted, just like before, in my late 20s. Now, fast forward a few years, I'd created this new life for myself, and I still felt like something was missing. I want to share a quote with you that I heard that is so powerful by James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. People often think that something far off will make them happy, that moving to a new place or getting a different job or meeting someone new will change how you feel. But happiness will always be withheld if you believe it is somewhere else. The secret is to find happiness in the people and places that you are close to. See the beauty in the things that are nearby. See the beauty within you. I added that to the end. So listen, I came back to Toronto after traveling. I'm based in Toronto, Canada. I came back here and I made a promise to myself. I was not going to fall back into the same trap. I truly reflected on what made me happy for once. Not what I thought everyone else said I should do, the job I should have. I did what made me happy. I focused on what I valued, on the life I really wanted. I started to incorporate the things that I loved and made me feel good into my day, bit by bit. And can I tell you, this had a very powerful ripple effect on my life. And let me tell you, I did a deep dive into the power of the mind. I started to see how I could change things with my mind. And this helped me to change my beliefs, so I no longer needed external validations to make me feel happy. Let me tell you, it's been a journey, and it is a daily journey. But after years of choosing happiness and being open to receive it, I am here right now. A complete evolution of who I was 10 years ago, and I'm exactly where I was meant to be. Look, I wouldn't trade traveling for anything. It was life-changing. It was an incredible experience for me. But now I no longer seek to escape my life. I don't seek to escape it. I seek to create the happiness right here, right now. And that is what I strive to do every single day. So now, as a certified coach, life coach, as a mindset expert and unapologetic happiness creator and seeker, it is my mission to help women like you see that you can have the happy and fulfilling life that you want and dream about. And even better, you can have it right here, right now. If you work with me, I help you find joy again. If you're waking up feeling like you've lost your joy, we find it. Your passion, build confidence so that you can really start living the life that you want. You've got one life, you got to start living it. I know that you've got the inner strength to do this, and together we'll help you figure that out. So really, my final message for you here today is happiness comes from within, and happiness is a choice to reconnect with yourself, your values, your passions, and finding an easy and fun way to incorporate those things into your life. It's not about escaping, taking another holiday, or thinking that you need to completely overhaul your life. I'm telling you, it's about taking little tiny steps to start to pave the path, create the momentum to live the happy life you want. It's been an absolutely incredible journey for me, for my clients, and I'm grateful every day for the opportunity to share my story on platforms like this. So thank you again.
Yes, Jane, we are on your happiness seekers mission with you.
Amazing.
You embody everything that you teach. I love to see your happiness shining through when you're on stage. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, Jane, today.
You're so welcome. And I'll share the link to my podcast in comments. And I'll also share you can connect with me on Instagram.
We'll see you on the IG.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Jane. Okay. Who is ready for our final speaker? She is coming on in a minute. Let's see the yeses. Let's see the yeses. Are you still with us? Are you still fired up? Do you want to hear from our last speaker? So I really want you to welcome, because listen, this is like a 2-hour event, and our speakers that go on last, I think, need the biggest amount of love. So if you can do that for us, that would be wonderful. I want to introduce you to Judy Murillo. She is the author of the book, You Are More Than Enough, Every Woman's Guide to Purpose, Passion, and Power. And she wants every woman to embrace the truth that they are not defined by limitations, nor should they measure their worth by anyone else's yardsticks. What a great message. What a great mission. Welcome, 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 Judy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
The stage is yours.
Oh, it's ready for me to go, huh? And thank you to the audience, to all of you who have joined us today. I am the author of the book, You Are More Than Enough. Here it is, Every Woman's Guide to Purpose, Passion, and Power. And I wrote this book because I had been teaching, finishing school and model agency and women's conferences and speaking for many, many years. And every woman that went through my program came there because they wanted to feel like they were more than they were. They always said, we do not feel like we are enough. And so that's why I wrote the book. But let me ask you this. Have you ever thought that you aren't enough? Have you ever thought you should have been, could have been, or would have been more? If only. If only you had married someone different. If only you'd gone to a different school. If only you'd have had different parents. If only you'd have swam around the edge instead of trying to go through the rough parts of the water. Could you have been more? Well, you're not supposed to be more. You're supposed to be exactly what you are now. You are right where you're supposed to be. Every fiber of your being and every decision you've ever made and every triumph and trial that you have ever faced has led us to this moment of us being together. And I have traveled to 29 countries around the world speaking on this subject. I went from the corners of my mind to the corners of the world. I've worked with women everywhere, and I heard their voices, the voices of vulnerability, the voices of self-doubt, the voices of a quiet belief that they are not enough. You see, every fiber of your being, every decision you've ever made, every triumph and every trial that you have ever had has led you to right now. It's led you to right now. And we're in a world that tries to have us compare ourselves to other people, tries to have us, look at social media. We compare our lives of every day to everybody else's best life. They put on there all the great things that they've done. They don't tell us about all of the problems and issues. And so we're constantly comparing ourselves with everybody else. You know, your worth is immeasurable. Your potential is boundless, and your purpose is uniquely your own. You don't have to be like everyone else. When I was a teenager, I was throwing a fit because I was having a problem with my hair. This hair thing seems to be a lifelong problem with me. And my father sat me down at the kitchen table and he said, "What would you like your tombstone to say?" And I thought, oh no, now he's going to kill me for sure. I've done something really terrible. And he said, no, you have to write down what you want your tombstone to say so that you know your purpose in life. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want other people to remember you? And so we spent the afternoon, my father and I, figuring out how I really did want to be remembered. And when I got it written down, he said, now that is your North Star. You follow that plan. You do what we've told you to do, and you won't have a problem. You do what this purpose says, because that way if people come along and they ask you to do something that isn't with your purpose, it's so easy to say no because it doesn't fit in with your life plan. So you have to learn to do that. You have to learn to say no. And so I did that. And I have lived my purpose pretty much. I said to my dad that day, I think what I'd like to do is live my life in such a way that my life would live after me in a positive way. That people, when they heard my name or when they read my books or when they saw something that I've done, they would have a positive remembrance of me. That's what I wanted. So that's the way I've lived my life. And so we have to remember, that we are not defined by our past and we're not sculpted by it. We are not limited by our circumstances. We are shaped by them. And you are not a passenger in your own life. You are the pilot of it. So what I'd like you to do is to connect with me at some point and let's embrace the truth that you are more than enough, and let it resonate with every step that you take, every decision you make, and every dream that you pursue, because you are more than enough. And I find it imperative to get that through to people. I had a wonderful lady, about 85 years old, recently call me, and she said that her husband had died and that her dog had died, and that at night when she was laying in bed crying, she realized that my book was on the bedside table, and she reached over and put her hand on it, and she said, I knew you were with me. I knew you were supporting me. And that told me that I have lived my purpose, that it is what I want, that I have made a difference in people's lives. And that's what I want to do every day. And I'm sure that's what you want to do. And I know that's what all the other speakers here today want to do. They were powerful, they were terrific, and they shared with you from the innermost of their soul. And that is all we can do to help each other. Can you imagine if each one of us in this audience, if we could all feel like we're enough and we could support each other and go forward? Can you imagine what a wonderful world we could make? I'm done.
On the screen. Judy, you gave me goosebumps when you were speaking. What a beautiful story you shared about the woman and your book. And I love that you're talking about collaboration, not comparison. And I think that we can all resonate with that, right? It's about collaborating and creating things together. Thank you so much for your beautiful words of wisdom and such an amazing way to close our event today. Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Wow. how amazing have our speakers been? I know to expect magic every time I either participate in an event such as this on the Women Thrive stage, or I'm not hosting it, I'm watching it. I always know that there is going to be magic created. But every single month, every time that we do these events, my mind is blown. I just wanted to say to all of our speakers that have spoken today, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, and thank you for overcoming whatever it was that you needed to overcome in your life so that you could stand on our stage today and share your story and your wisdom and be an inspiration to so many others. And we will continue to host these events every month. This is just a small selection of our speakers. We have other amazing speakers that are going to be speaking on our summit in March of next year to celebrate all women. And we love to share them with you. We love to showcase them with you so that you can connect and you can be inspired. And you can also be inspired to, you know, do the things that you want to do and that you want to bring into your fruition. And something actually that Judy just talked about there that I wrote down here is about leaving a legacy. And I've been speaking a lot about that today. I've been in a lot of conversations around legacy. And I wanted to invite you to ponder on this evening. So there are going to be so many takeaways for you this evening as you are watching, and I'm sure that you'll have individual speakers that you've resonated with and individual messages that you've aligned with. And I encourage you to connect with our wonderful speakers, connect with them on social media, support them. But really think about your legacy. What is the legacy that you want to leave? What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? What do you want your message and impact to be in this world? What do you want to create? Because we all have the opportunity to do that. We all have the opportunity to create a mission and a purpose and leave a beautiful legacy. And I want to encourage you to think about that tonight and maybe share it with someone, or maybe share it with many people and start a mission of your own. I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today. It means so much to us, actually, when we are on this stage, especially on a virtual stage. We can't see you. So it's very different to standing on an actual physical stage. And the fact that you are so vocal within the comments and that you're cheering us on and you're showing your support and you're sharing with us means the world to us. So I wanted to thank you for your beautiful energy today. I also wanted to shout out to our wonderful team. You know, it takes a village to create an event like this, right? It's no mean feat to put on a live event like this. And it's certainly no mean feat to put on a 5-day live event, which is going to be happening during our summit in March. So we have a wonderful team that have so many different abilities and zones of genius that put all of this together. Everyone plays their part, and everyone is so amazing. I feel very proud and privileged to be part of a team such as this. And a very special thanks to Joel, who heads up our production team, who always supports us behind the scenes. Thank you, Joel, for making me feel safe when I'm presenting today. I also want to give a very special shout out to Ramonda, the founder of Women Thrive, who has birthed our vision into the world and given us all a global stage to speak on and be visible. And she's birthed her own baby at the same time. What a woman she is. So thank you to everyone who has joined us today. I hope you're inspired. I hope you're inspired to share. I hope that you're inspired to step into your vision. And who knows, maybe one day we will be introducing you onto our stage. Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing amazing day, evening, wherever you are in the world, morning, and we will see you all soon. Lots of love and take care.